All right, everybody. Welcome back to Shoney Talks Lifestyle. I know you are excited today. I have a super special episode. I've never done this before, and I'm excited about it. So, what I would need you to do is go ahead and share this live to your friends, to your family, to people that you like. You need to get your whole life. Share it to them too, because they're gonna get their whole life on here. We have some amazing guests today. We have some awesome giveaways. So don't you go nowhere. Make sure that you stay where you are, because you're gonna love it. All right. So I'm going to tell you about these amazing people. First of all, this is the first time that I've been able to have these amazing guests together on this show. I actually know them personally, so yay. So I could definitely give my stamp of approval on this. So the first person I'm going to introduce is Lauren Billups. She is a real estate professional who has her master's in business administration, and she has gained respect from her many clients because she educates them in their home buying journey. She has become known as the relatable realtor due to her uncanny ability to build lasting relationships with her clients and their families. Now, also the last 6 years, she has been an integral part of the combined federal campaign. And I'm sure she'll tell you a little bit about that. And Lauren lives with her husband, Chris, and her two sons, Michael and Aiden, in Columbia, Maryland. And together they enjoy all types of sports, traveling, swimming, visiting the park, and with a household of three boys eating. You know that's a bill right there. All right. So that's our first person we're going to meet, and I'll introduce her, and I'm sure you'll know who she is. All right. And then next we have an amazing guest, Derrick Billups, who is the founder and CEO of the Foundation for Financial Fitness Incorporated. Now, this is a New Jersey nonprofit that specializes in equipping and empowering organizations and individuals to achieve their financial goals. He is also a well-regarded public speaker, a member of Toastmasters International, and a radio host. And there's a long list of other things that you can find on his website that he does. But also, one of the most important, he's been married for 30 years, you guys. So he's taken, all right, to his beautiful wife, and he has three amazing adult children and two grandchildren. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce them really quick. I'm going to start with Lauren, who you already heard about. Hey, girl.
Hey. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we're so happy to have you. Can you greet the viewers really quick?
Hello, everyone. I am Lauren Thomas. Thank you so much for having me, Deshawn, on here. And I look forward to your questions and to just explaining about my real estate journey and some things you may want to look out for as you're out there in the market.
All right. I love it. I love it. Everybody, here's the next guest. You already heard about Derrick Billups. Yo, he's in the house. How are you? Oh, you're muted. Are you muted? Oh, you are muted.
Oh, what's up, everyone? I was muted. Oh, we're just trying to make sure I don't have any background noise there. What's going on, everyone? I'm good. I'm Derrick Billups, Derrick T. Billups Sr., and I'm president and founder of the Foundation for Financial Fitness, and I'm glad to be here with you on Shoney Talks. And so let's go. Let's get going.
All right. I love it. I love it. All right, you guys. So what I need you to do, go ahead and share this feed. I'm going to give you some instructions really quick. You don't even know what the giveaways are, but I know you're going to want them. So I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're in the comment section, go ahead, put your name and put, I want it. I want it. It's free. Why don't you want it? But not even more importantly, is it free, but it's actually valuable. And that's amazing that it's free. All right. So make sure that you put that. All right. So let's get into this. We'll start with Lauren first. So how did your journey begin? Tell us about it. How did you get into this?
Sure. I actually am what they would say, probably a newer agent. I've been an agent, a real estate agent for 2 years now in the state of Maryland. I originally I have a government background. I was with the federal government for 10 years, and they molded me to, the person I am today. So I have no regrets there. But once I had my son about 3 years ago, something kind of clicked and said, hey, you can do more for yourself. So instead of jumping out and getting necessarily a second or a part-time job, I decided to keep my full-time position at the government and practice real estate. And then just about 3 months ago, I decided to let the government job go and go full-time real estate. Honestly, it was time for me to be my own boss. And I wanted the freedom to be able to do what I wanted when I wanted to do, especially when it came to my family. So it was a smooth transition. It was a good transition, and I haven't looked back yet.
I love it. I can totally relate because I'm a mom too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of women, it takes a lot of courage to want to go ahead and be your own boss and step out. So definitely commend you for making that step. And I've been hearing about you on social media, and I've been seeing your thing. So I know you're doing your thing over there. So I'm excited about that. All right. So question, for you, Derrick, you've been in this, oh my gosh, forever, in a long time. So tell us, how did you start though? Like, when did it start for you?
Well, it started maybe about 30 years or so ago when I was still a teacher in Virginia. And a good friend of mine happened to be a gentleman that was involved in the business. He was involved in insurance and financial services and retirement planning, and he was happened to be a teacher himself. And so we got to talking, and I always knew I wanted to have my own business. So it was a great opportunity, a great transition for me from teaching right into the financial service business, and I got right into it. Took my tests and all that good stuff, and got my Series 6 and Series 7, and then just went on and just started the business, and been doing it for quite a while now. And it's enjoyable, and it's always good when you're helping people. And that's what, as a teacher, you help people, and then in this business, you continue to help people. And I'm still doing that today.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And what I love about you both is you both seem like go-getters. And so, if you're a person out there and maybe you've been kind of contemplating maybe any of these fields that you might want to get into, or even something different, they're going to have something that they're going to share with you today that can kind of give you a little change of perspective from where you are, and just keep listening. So we'll go to Lauren next. So we're talking about this home buying process here, real estate and all of that. Everybody's popping in real estate right now. Everywhere that I look right now, if I could think of anything that's really prospering right now, I would say it's the consumables and the real estate. Because those two things, even when this whole pandemic hit, people were good. Like, they were booming in business. So how has things been for you, you would say? Would you say that's true?
Yeah, we have not slowed down at all. We have, I'm on the Beacon Home team of Keller Williams, and our team has been consistently steady. We have, I don't want to say that we haven't felt
Right.
with COVID, because we had to shift. But when we realized that we had to shift, we did it very well, and we did it very quick. And that let our business continue to grow as well as it has.
Right.
And
go ahead. The thing that I saw online that you did, this was part of the pivot, I guess I saw. Mm-hmm. Now, you can explain what y'all did, but people were actually able to view these homes, right? They were able to do their walkthrough. So how did you do that?
So we do a lot of open houses. So normally on a Sunday afternoon, we would do an open house. But once COVID hit, we realized that we had to change. And how can we still allow people to see homes, but not necessarily go into a home? Mm-hmm. And the way we were able to do that was we were able to do marketing content. So we did videos and we did live open houses so that people still had an opportunity to feel as though they were actually walking through a house. Even though sometimes it's not the same because you want to get the feel and the smell of a house, but it worked, and it worked for that time being, because right now we can now do open houses. Right. It's just not as much as it was. It's now maybe 2 or 3 people per open house, every 30 minutes instead of people coming in all the time. Mm-hmm. So we were able to shift, and that helped a lot. It really did.
Awesome. So are you meeting your clients in person, like on the virtual thing, so they can kind of get that feel for you? Because the thing I heard about you is that you stay with your clients. You're with their, their families, their grandchildren, the great, you traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Their family. So is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. And it's been working out great. Honestly, it really has.
Awesome.
And I think we'll continue to do so even after, if that ever happens. We're going to make that now a new rule, so that people can still get that whole, all right, let's, do a virtual tour. Because sometimes people don't want to go outside. It may be seasonal, maybe snowing. So here's another option. You can tour the home virtually, and if you do want to see it or you have an opportunity to see it, you still can, but at least you have the option to tour it virtually.
Right. Okay. Now to you, Derrick. So you're in a different, well, y'all fields kind of collide here. So you're in the financial field, but you were already kind of doing some virtual things. So how did the pandemic kind of affect you and what you're doing? What have you made available for people?
Well, I mean, with my website and some of my podcasts and all those things, it's always been available for people. So even if someone wanted to, let's say, purchase life insurance or
Right.
get some retirement information, they can go to my website, and then we can communicate that way. Obviously, COVID has affected everyone. Okay, no matter what business you're in. I mean, obviously, some businesses are thriving in this situation, but
Right.
most businesses are suffering to some degree, or it has
Yeah.
affected them to some degree, and that's okay. And that's why, again, you have to be prepared for that, regardless of whether a pandemic was coming or not. You always have to have your business in a position where it can survive no matter what the situation is, and you have to diversify, and not just in what we're talking about in terms of investing and all those things, but you have to diversify in your business. How you going about it? The same way of Lauren, if she can do direct mailing, she can do social media, she can do foot patrol. She's got to get out. She can do signs, she can do billboards, and we can do the same thing as well in order to reach our people. And so we just continue to do that. We continue to have all the avenues open for them. And of course, I'm kind of old school, so I talk to a lot of people. I make phone calls, and so I do that. So
Right.
and people still love to hear from you. They love their contact, so that's a good way. So I haven't slowed down in a lot of ways, but in the same way, it has affected me.
Okay, I love it. I love it. So if you're kind of like already a person who's a business owner or you're working on those types of things, you should just be pivoting during this time.
Yeah,
is what I'm
you always have to be in a position. Again, the reality of the matter is that whether it's a pandemic or not, nothing always flows. There's always lulls in business. There's always, no matter what kind of business you're in, there's always situations where there's a dead spot, there's a dead point, things slow down, but you have to be prepared for that anyway. So this pandemic for most businesses, it's just a point in time where in their business where there's a slowdown. So you should be prepared for that anyway. Now, obviously, it's a lot more detrimental than just a slowdown. People are dying, families are affected in a lot of ways, people are losing their jobs. So obviously, it's a lot more serious than just saying there's a little slowdown in business, because it's affecting people in a lot of ways. But at the same time, as a business owner, you have to be prepared and be ready for adjustments, and that's what we should be doing anyway.
Okay, no, that's good. So with all of these things going on, Lauren, and back to you, Lauren. So people are looking for homes to buy. They're dealing with this financial aspect. They're dealing with not really sure what's going to happen and all these things. And I know real estate's popping right now. So what are some red flags people should look for when buying a home? Because I know everybody trying to throw these deals and all this stuff like that. But what have you been seeing? Like, what should I be looking for that's a red flag? Like, don't do that,
Yeah, if we're going out on a house tour, and you are my buyer, I will open the door and I will let you and whomever you're with walk around the home so that you can get a sense and a feel. Can I make this my house? While I, on the other end, and I am looking for the red flags. I'm looking to see, is there any noticeable mold anywhere? Is there anything wet, maybe in the basement, maybe that could have caused flooding? Are your systems older, meaning your HVAC system, your AC, your water heater? There are quite a few things interior wise that we do look out for. And then like exterior and then cracks in the foundation. But I'm huge on resale value, right? So if we walk into a house, my first thought is, okay, how will this resell in 5 to 7 years, right? So is there a major highway in your backyard? Is there a train that you can hear clear as day going right through the major highway that's behind your house? And is there an airplane going over? Is there an airport very close by? So those are certain red flags that I look for, that my client may not mind, but I do let them know, make sure they are aware of it, that, hey, 5 to 7 years, this may be a little difficult to sell depending on who your next, obviously, client is, or who your next buyer is.
Okay, I love that. That's some great tips. All right, so back to you, Derrick. So if anybody's looking to shift in this season of life that they're in right now, what is the first step they can take to become fit in their finances? No matter what they're trying to do, whether it's buy a home or start a business or whatever, what can they do? One step.
Well, that don't only tell you what they could do, but that's more importantly what they probably should have done.
Okay.
One of the things we talk about always when I'm either doing my podcast or I'm meeting with someone is talk about having an emergency fund. And this at this particular time, that's an understatement that this is an emergency. And what happens is some people have not been prepared for that individually and as a family. So you may lose your job, or you get furloughed, or you get laid off, or any of that nature, and then that affects you. Maybe you get unemployment. Usually if you get unemployment, you're not getting the same amount that you would get if you were working. And so now that starts to dip into your savings. And if you don't have an emergency fund anywhere from 3 to 6 months, then what happens is it starts to affect you. And that's what starts to, and if you have a business, it's the same thing. Because remember, business owners are also individuals. They have a family life. So Lauren has a business, and then some things affect her business, but ultimately then it affects her family and affects her life. And so what happens is if you're in a business, you have a business issue and a business problem, a business emergency. But now you're also going to have an individual, a family emergency, because all that trickles down. And if for some reason you're working a 9 to 5, or you're just working a regular job, then it initially will affect you and affect your family immediately. And if you don't have those kind of things in place, that's what I'm talking about, being prepared. And I talked earlier about being prepared as a business owner, but it's also being prepared as an individual. And that's where the emergency fund comes into play. So that something like this happens. Now we've exceeded the 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I think maybe we're now in the 6 months. Yeah. So now you may be in a position at this time. Now you're probably thinking, okay, what do I do now? Particularly if you're not back at work, or you're not going to go back to work, or if you've lost your job because maybe your business is closed down. And so that's one of the things I'm just talking about. And I've talked to people, and one of the first things I ask, do you have an emergency fund? Because we start talking about other things. And I'm saying we don't know how long this is going to go on. And you need to be saving, setting aside. And if you haven't, you need to start doing that now. So that's what I go. You ask me, what can they do? I'm really talking about what they should have been doing. And if they haven't done that, that's what they should be doing right now.
Yeah, definitely. I can say that's true. I feel like, I'm not going to go into my whole story. You guys know what's going on in my personal story as far as with building a house is going on. But yeah, emergency fund is huge, because I don't think I could still be doing what I'm trying to do and have that, because I sure didn't see what happened. And so I would say to those who are listening, I don't care if you feel like you're comfortable right now. Get uncomfortable. Get with that, because that's real life. Because I don't care if you got somebody that puts everything for you or whatever. They gonna die one day. So get comfortable with what uncomfortable feels like, so that you can begin to step outside yourself and really tap into who that you really are, the person that you haven't seen yet. Okay, so
and then really don't dwell on the problem at hand. The problem's there, right? The problem's already there. There's nothing you can do. Focus on that solution. Okay, now, like he said, what exactly can I be doing now? Like, you should be focusing not on the problem, because it's not going to make anything better. Focus on the solution. All right, I know here's the problem. I obviously don't have this much saved. What is my next step that I can do to start saving or get to that number? So just very solution oriented, and have that mindset, have a solution oriented mindset, and say, I'm not going to dwell on this problem that I have. We know we have it. Let's figure out what the next step is.
Definitely. All right, which gets me to my next question. So I know personally, like, being in finances that are good standing is a big thing. But back to talking about this real estate here, is there anything that people should be doing right now outside of, getting their finances together, being prepared with the emergency fund and all of that, to prepare for home buying process? Is there something else they're not thinking about?
Credit runs your life. I don't really care how you think about it or how you think you may feel, but I am telling you guys, credit is your life. It really is. You can walk in somewhere and it doesn't matter. Once they look at your credit, you have to make sure your credit is where it needs to be. So for an example, if you know you want to get an FHA loan, 580 is your minimum score that you need to be at. If you want a conventional loan, 620, it may be even higher now. It may have went to 660 conventional loan. These are things that you really need to pay attention to. And then get a lender. You have to start with the lender. So if you know your credit may not be exactly where you need it to be, or maybe you just don't know where your credit is, Credit Sesame, Credit Karma will definitely help you out. They're both free. They're apps, download them. Then next, go to a lender and find out, put a game plan together. Find out, okay, what exactly do I need to do to get me where I need to be if I want to purchase a house within the next 6 months to a year? It all starts with a plan.
Right.
Go with that plan. Your credit is very important, and make sure you get yourself a lender. And I have a few I can recommend as well.
Yeah. So what I want you guys to do is we're doing a giveaway today. We're actually, and Lauren tell you about this before we get to the next question with Derrick, but she's going to be doing this class September 25th. You want to make sure that you're there. I'm actually going to sponsor 20 people that want to be a part of that class. She is going to teach you how to get started with real estate. If that's something that you want to get started with real estate, maybe you're on the edge and you're like, I don't even know what I want to do. Well, you need to do this. Let me tell you, because you need to have something. You need to have something. Matter of fact, you need 4 or 5 something.
Yes.
That you're doing. And Derrick will tell you a little bit more about that. So go ahead in the comment section and put, I want to take the class. It's free to you. I'm going to be sponsoring that for 20 people on this today. So if that's you, go ahead and put it in the comment section, and then we'll go ahead and hook you up with that type of class. Now, if you don't get it, it's going to go to 20. It's going to go to how many other people that was left that she picks up for herself. So if I was you, it's still going to go, but I hope it's you. All right. So now we're going to go to Derrick, back to Derrick. So she's talking about, getting all these things together for your credit. You're talking about finances. This is something that I don't think people think about, but is there something that people should do once they own a home in case if something happens? That we're all excited because we done got this home, but how do we stay protected while we're in this home?
Well, I mean, obviously the basic stuff is making sure you have homeowners insurance and stuff like that to cover for fire and all that. But then of course you should have you and your spouse should, if it's a spouse, if not just you should have some kind of insurance, whether it be life insurance, disability insurance, those things. One, life insurance, obviously if you pass, if you have a family, that way that doesn't become a burden. That home doesn't become a burden. It can stay in the family. Because the mortgage is still going to be due. Okay, somebody's still going to have to pay, particularly if there's 2 names on there. So that also helps there. Also, if you, for some reason, you get disabled, if disabled, that means you still, again, that mortgage is still there. So that still will help you with that. So, I mean, those are basic things. When I say those are basic things that you should make sure that you have once you move into a home. I mean, and some of those things, and Lauren will probably contest to that, and what she's doing may help you with that as you're getting a home and now you're moving in, because now if you moved in, you probably have the income already, you have your credit score already, you've done all those things, the hard part. And then when you get in, and it's almost something like business owners. A lot of times when you're building a business, you forget about yourself. You forget about to take care of yourself and make sure that you have insurance and disability and all those things in place, and saving and all those things in place. And sometimes when you move into a home with your family, to be in there, you're so excited to have the new home, you're so excited to show it, but you don't take care of the things because things will happen. And you need to make sure that those things are covered, and you need you and your family to be covered. So once you get in, I mean, there's some basic things that you can do that doesn't have anything to do with the home itself now.
Right.
But you should have that whole, again, you should have homeowners insurance, and you should have an insurance agent that can help you with that. So fire and water and all that kind of stuff, that you can have, so that if something happens prematurely, that they're in place, and then life insurance and things of that nature. So that's just if you're in the home and you get in there.
And once you're in, or right before you get into the home, make sure you have a good agent. And why I say this is because if you, as the buyer, if you and maybe your spouse, or if you do not have a spouse, if you have a certain budget, stick with that budget, because when you get into the home, you're comfortable. You don't have to, stress about the mortgage payment because you went over a little bit. No, make sure you are dead set on that budget and stick with it. A good agent will help you find and will help you stay within that budget so that when you're in that home finally, you can relax and I bought a great home. It's in my budget. And you don't really have to worry about what else do I need to do to stay in here, or make sure you can make your mortgage payment. So just make sure you have a good agent by your side and they're not sending you things that's over your budget and pushing you to a something that you are not comfortable with, because it's your house, it's your life, and you're going to be the one living there.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you do that before you move in. You and your agent do that before you move in.
Right.
That's why I was talking about those things that once you move in, that you have that. I'm hoping that you and your agent
right.
are looking at those things prior to that.
Yep.
I'm hoping that's why I said your income and all of those things and your credit is already in place. So now you're in there, that's something that you can afford. So hopefully that's a great point, Lauren. I'm hoping that you do that before you move in that place. Mm-hmm. Once you get in there and you start talking about, can we manage this? That's going to be kind of difficult.
Right.
So, that's what I was hoping. So
I don't see nobody out there pushing carts, so we don't want to do that.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
right.
And so
okay, so we definitely got to get this all together now. So tell us a little bit. You have this book out here. You got two books out here? One is a workbook. Tell us about that.
Well, both books are designed. One is Changing Your Condition, Not Your Position, which is the first one. And the second one is Are You Making a Living or Making a Life? And those books are there for a reason. And are you making a living or making a life? Anyone can make a living. The man on the street, the woman on the street, living on the street, they're making a living. They're living. Making a life is about how you adjust, how you make adjustments, doing the right thing, budgeting, planning, credit. That's a life. That's a life. And then you talk about Changing Your Condition, Not Your Position, which was my first book. Okay. Your condition is a state. The position you're in is a physical position. No matter where you are, what you're doing, that's a physical situation. But your condition is, again, the way you live in your life, again. And so those things have a great meaning to what we're trying to do. And the books are designed to be very simple to read. Simple to read because I believe, as an educator, most people don't have the time or the patience to read a long book. Unless it's a novel. Okay, novels people can read. Financial books, people don't like to sit down and read. They don't like to sit down and read unless they're really into that. But when you have a small book, something they can look at, it applies to their life immediately. They can relate to it. If it doesn't relate to them, it can relate to someone else. Maybe it can relate to a child, a brother, a sibling, or something like that they can pass it on. And more importantly, they'll read it. If you don't read the book doesn't mean anything. Okay, if you don't open it and read it, it doesn't mean anything. And it has very simple solutions to things about budgeting, about putting together a financial team.
Okay.
Those kind of things that are important.
Okay.
Emergency fund, 10 rules, all that food for thought, all those things are in there that very simple and you can read and you can utilize it, you can apply it to your life. Right now.
And
no matter what.
And I have both books. Look, I have both books, you guys. So what I want to do is I'll bless 5 people with one of those books that you just mentioned, the condition one, and then 5 more people with the other second book. So if you want that book, if you're trying to get your financial thing and you want something that's like an interactive type book, which is what I like about it, go ahead and put in the comments, I want it. Also, I'll / and put that class with that book so that way you can get both of them. There you go. You got both of them. So what 10 people want that? Go ahead and put that down below and I'm going to get it. And if you don't get it, we're going to pick 10 people we want to give it to. Somebody going to get it, because let me tell you why. People are scrapping and scraping out there right now during this pandemic. People are trying to figure out, what am I going to do? How am I going to make this work? Some people are taking on multiple jobs because they have no idea what they're going to do next. But what we're here to do today is to bless you with an opportunity to be able not only to see what could you do, but get yourself in a better position so that you can do for yourself. And there's some other services too that they offer as well that you can check out on their websites. And really quick, I want to share Derrick's website, which is f4ff.net. So go ahead and go on there. He also has an app that you can download, and he'll tell you about that in a second. And then if you would like to reach Lauren, you can actually go on her actual Facebook page. And she said that you can check out her business page, which is Lauren Realtor. So go ahead and make sure that you check that out on Facebook. Go ahead and like the page, follow her, see what she's doing. I like it because let me tell you why. I like HGTV. Like I really got problems. Like if I'm not watching Muppet Babies because my kids are making me watch it, I'm watching HGTV because I just want to look at these houses. So when she's doing her tours, you can go. It's like watching that to me. So you can definitely check her out if you're in the Maryland area. Is that the area mostly that you're doing? And and if you just want to learn about how you can get started in real estate, she's doing a class, and this is for anybody, no matter where you are, any of the states that you're in. Go ahead and put that in there, and we'll make sure that you get in touch with that. If you want to do that, it's going to be for free for 10 people. So make sure you put I want it. All right. Tell us about the app, Derrick, really quick.
Well, the app is designed, obviously, for you to download it, put it on your phone, put it on your tablet, put on any of those sources that you have. And then it's pretty user friendly as well. And what we do is we update it, give you information, some of the things we're doing. For example, we're going to be next month, we're going to have our finance, fitness, and health seminar. And we have that. And that finance, health, fitness, and seminar will include myself, Dr. Paul Hopkins, and then my son, Derrick Billups Jr.
Yes.
And we're doing that. And then we're also going to be inviting my daughter, Lauren. Those of you who don't know that's my daughter right there.
All right.
So, we'll be inviting Lauren to come on sometimes as well, and that will be on our app as well. So you can download that. It'll be a small fee for the seminar, and we'll be having that on a monthly basis.
Y'all get it.
Yeah. So it'll be on a monthly basis, and but the app is free, so you can download the app. But we also have a group called Financial Fitness 365, and that's a small fee there. And what that's designed to do is to continue to give you information, get you involved in other things, connect you with financial teams, and that's what's important. And if this is my last statement, the last statement is about putting together financial teams, and financial teams are absolutely imperative to your success. And when I'm saying a financial team, that becomes an attorney, that comes a real estate agent, that comes an insurance agent, a financial advisor. All these people are designed to help you to solve your solutions, your financial solutions, your life solutions, and they'll help you get through. Because you don't know it all. A lot of times we think we know it all, but we really don't. No. And those professionals are in place. And most of those professionals will do things for you, work for you for free until they work on commission. And then when you get and when a sale is made or they actually do something for you, then what will happen is then they'll get compensated. So don't worry about money and fees and things of that nature. Just put your team together. And when you do that, then you'll find yourself to be able to be successful very easily, financially and in other ways, business as well. People will be able to help you with that. So I'll leave it at that.
I love it. Okay, we're going to have 2 more questions, and then we're going to end for today. So either one of you can answer these questions how best you want. But the question is directed to both of you. So what strategies can people work on to develop assets? Either one. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lauren. You want to answer or you want me to?
I'll start first. What I do, I could just kind of tell you what I do. I start a plan. I start with I have a why, right? My biggest why are my kids. That is my why. The reason why I do it, so I can have the flexibility to do what it is I need to do. So what I do is I start with a plan, and I have my yearly goal. And then I work backwards. What do I need to do every month to get to that yearly goal? Then I break it down by week. What do I need to do this week in order to get to that monthly goal that I have set for this month of August? What am I doing this week, next week, the week after, for those 4 weeks to get me to that monthly goal? Then I break it down even smaller to, okay, what do I need to do today to get to that weekly goal that'll get me to that monthly goal that will finally get me to that yearly goal? And it's okay if you hit it early. That's okay. You hit it. And if you hit it early, you can go ahead and get another asset. That's all right. But make sure you're doing what you need to do. Start with a plan. It is a plan. That's probably my biggest thing I can say is make sure you have a plan and set, and you have a goal. So make sure you have those goals, and I'm telling you, things will just work out the way that they need to.
I love it. All right, Derrick, same for you.
I'll just kind of piggyback on Lauren, and that's great information, great recommendations, and I really can. I'm about financial goals as well.
Come on.
And whether it be individual goals, family goals, business goals, educational goals, all of those things will help you ultimately build assets. And we know what assets are. Assets are things that you own. And if we're talking about, we're talking about personal, tangible assets, whether it be a home or investments, car, whatever it is, those are tangible assets. And those things, if we're talking about that, then the reality of the matter is it does start with a strategy. It does start with goals. It does start with planning. It starts with all of those things and how because when you get assets, the important thing is you want to keep those assets. You don't want to lose those assets because you can get them. Sometimes it's easier to get them, okay, and it's harder to get them and it's easy to lose them. And so we just want to make sure that, as Lauren said, you're having strategies, you're having a plan, you're having goals, and all those things come together. And once you get those assets, then more importantly, you can have them, you can maintain them, and you can utilize them. They then can benefit you and your family, and in some instances, benefit your family, benefit your business. I'm sorry. So that's a good thing.
Because you want to be able to keep, like my dad said, you want to be able to keep and maintain it. So you get it. Sometimes it's really hard to maintain it and keep it. And within that plan that you're doing, you're also educating yourself. You want to get that knowledge. So if you try to jump out and just, I want to own a home or I want to get a car. Well, have you done any research on how much the car would cost, what your monthly payment will be, how much you need a down payment, what kind of car you want? Those are all part of the plan, and you can get it. That's fine, but you're going to make sure you keep it. Oh man, I got a car, but what I didn't know is the car costs this much. That's fine. What I didn't know was the parts would be. Certain things you don't know, but if you take your time, plan things out, and educate yourself, you will be much better off, I think.
Yes. So I definitely want you guys to go ahead and reach out to Derrick, reach out to Lauren, because that's why I like them. And that's why I brought them on, because they're all about educating, empowering, and equipping you. Not just, some people out there, sorry, but they're just there to just get that check. But, and of course you want a check at the end of the day, but you want to know that you have impacted someone's life. And that's what they're about. All right. So last question, and this is a little bit more personal, but and you guys can answer this. What do you find is most challenging when you're dealing with clients? People always want to say about the person that's servicing them, but sometimes clients can be a little bit challenging. What have you guys found is most challenging when dealing with them?
I'll take this first, Lauren.
Okay.
Well, I think one of the things I found, what I always teach is that you are your worst enemy. Okay, you are your worst enemy. So we always look for to blame people. We look at our credit scores and we're blaming people. We're looking at current situation, we blame people. We're looking at everything. We're looking at our jobs, our bosses, our business, everything. You are your worst enemy. And the reason why I say that is that because the reality of the matter is, if you don't do the things, if you don't budget, if you don't plan, if you don't set a strategy, if you don't put things in place, if you don't have a team, if you don't have all of these things in place and most of these things in place, what happens is when you look in the mirror, you'll find out the reason why that things are not in place is because of you. Okay, and it usually is because of you. And I mean, that's a hard pill to swallow. But the reality of the matter, it is usually because of that. That usually what happens is it's because of you that you find yourself in the position that you're in. And so that's what I usually try to tell people is that your worst enemy is yourself when you're trying to figure out, when you're figuring out why I'm in the position I'm in, what do I need to do? And that's usually what the situation is.
Yeah, and sometimes it's an unfortunate situation. I can recognize with that one, but it still points back to you at the end of the day, because whether it's did you do research or whatever, or maybe you were waiting a long time to hear yeses and you finally got excited and then boom, you didn't pay attention at that time. But it still always points back to you. So go ahead, Lauren, your turn.
Yeah, challenging with my clients. I probably wouldn't call it that. It's always a learning experience for me. I take anything as a learning experience. Like I said, I'm 2 years in as an agent. So when I'm helping my buyers, they teach me things. They're always going to teach me something the same way that I'm hoping I am teaching them. But one challenging thing, and it's so funny that you already mentioned this, Shawnee, but one challenging thing with my buyers is HGTV. So when we go out, they have a higher standard sometimes. They have more of an HGTV standard. And even sometimes when they are speaking with their lenders to get pre-approved, they may think that they can be pre-approved for a certain amount because of HGTV, and they only show that little 30-minute clip, and they don't show everything that you have to do beforehand just to get to that point, right? So that can be challenging, just seeing, oh, I thought we could get this because, HGTV showed this, and this is the kind of house. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, and I have to be the one to kind of bring them back down to reality. And sometimes that can be challenging for some people to hear because that's not what they were expecting. But we work through it, and we still find them what they're looking for mostly, and we move on from there. So that's probably the most challenging so far.
All right, I love it. I love it. So listen, for those who are going to be watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Don't forget. Like I said, when the first 10 people that I see that say I want it, you're gonna get access to the class that Lauren is doing September 25th. It will be virtual, so it doesn't matter where you are. And it's called How to Get Started in Real Estate. That's that class. And then also 10 people will be getting the books from Derrick, so he'll be able to know where to send those. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you both for being an amazing guest as always. And everybody have an amazing day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.